are and what we do. So QShala, we're basically a curiosity company, and we have worked with 80,000 plus children, partnered with 80 plus schools, designed and delivered 500 plus school and curiosity events, and engaged 2,000 students and parents online. The main purpose or objective of QShala is to pique the curiosity of every learner. We're very age agnostic. The reason being, we're also doing this webinar here. So just to ensure that especially our kids are curious, confident learners of the 21st century, QShala has been established with that aim. What makes us special is we're the only quizzing company to have conducted a quiz in all the seven continents, including Antarctica. So that has been quite a feat for us. We've also been recorded in the Limca Book of Records for being the only quiz company having conducted quizzes across all seven continents. And moving on, why QShala? You may have the questions. So again, QShala online. So we have various offerings. One of our online offerings is a curiosity-centric or a curiosity-based curriculum where we use questions, stories, activities, and discussions to hone curious minds. It covers everything right from general knowledge to current affairs to a lot of skill-based learning like money management, time management, etc. This is complementary to what is happening in the curriculum. We have particularly had quite a lot of fun doing this segment, which is our QShala family quiz. Ever since the lockdown began, we thought why not use Sundays as a good bonding time for the families. And just like we used to have the Bull Meter quiz contest in the 90s, we thought we'll have a similar family quiz. Ever since we've been having the family quiz in this lockdown, and we've engaged over 6,500 families in countries across the world, from Japan, Norway, UAE, etc. And it's been a lot of fun watching parents and children answer questions together. If you would like to register for our QShala family quiz, the link has been shared with you in the chat box here. And we really love to reach out to more families here. So do share the family quiz poster with 10 families and send us a screenshot of the same to the number here. And if you participated in the QShala family quiz, we'd love to hear from you as a testimonial, and tag us on social media along with 10 of your friends. And in return, you get the QShala family quiz archives worth rupees 500 for free. So do share this link with your students or in your friends and family circles. And with that, let's get started with lesson planning. Now, I do understand that all of you are teachers and must be using this tool on a day-to-day basis to plan your lessons. But this is to adapt more specifically to the online context. How do we make the most of what we have? So with that, let's get started. So this is what you're going to be doing, teachers. You will be filling out the KWL chart for lesson planning. Let me explain what it is. So a KWL chart or a
Two sector closed.
Yes, ma'am. Any doubt? All right. The KWL chart or the Know, Want, Learn is an opening hook. It's a great strategy to recap previous knowledge and build and engage learning throughout the class. And it encourages students to take ownership of their learning. It's something that you can use in your classrooms as well. But for this session, we're going to start with filling out the KWL chart on lesson planning. So the first column is what do I know? K stands for know. So what do I know about lesson planning? For example, I know that lesson plan is a great tool to be prepared with resources. Second, what do I want to learn about lesson planning? For example, I want to know what strategies will give students more time to practice. And the last column we're going to be filling at the end of the session, so you can leave it blank for now. So I request you to fill up your own KWL chart. We can take 2 minutes to do this. With respect to lesson planning, what do I know? What do I want to know? And at the end of the webinar, we'll be filling out what did I learn about lesson planning. Once you're done, you can give me a thumbs up. We'd love to hear shares from some of you. KWL chart for lesson planning. What do I know? What do I want to know? Is there anybody who would like to share with us? This just makes it easier also for us to understand with respect to lesson planning how else can we go about this better. So would love to make this interactive with a few shares maybe. All right, so Uma Venkatraman ma'am says how to organize the classes in a very meticulous manner. All right, okay. What else would you maybe want to know from this space? We could just have a few more shares, show of hands. Okay, how we can, Meenakshi Bakshivan says, how can we organize the topic, structure it a little better? All right, sure. Let's take one more share maybe, and then we'll move on.
Ms. Manjula wants to know what are the different hooks that she can use to start off with a lesson.
Okay, great. All right, the different hooks that we can use to start off a lesson. Super. All right. So let's keep a tab of our individual learning throughout. All right, Ms. Archana Singh ma'am also says that wants to know more clarity with what can be covered and what can be left out as one needs to cut down the syllabus. Okay, sure. All right, ma'am. We'll go about that. We'll see how we can chunk and organize the information better. Let's move on. So we are going to look at the 5-step method to lesson plan. It's an end-to-end method. So it's a very simple method that has these 5 steps. The first is the opening. So like Manjula ma'am asked, what are the different strategies or tools that we can use as a hook in a lesson plan? This is where we will be using it. So opening is how well you start off your lesson. It's a hook for your lesson. It doesn't have to be too long, maximum 2 to 5 minutes. It could be as simple as an energizer, which I think we've covered in our previous webinars. Any energizer that can be used, any sort of brainstorming question. It could be any small puzzle piece. It's just to set the tone of the lesson, to engage the learner. It can also be used as a recap tool. So just like we use the KWL chart for the start of this webinar, in case you've taught a topic previously and you want the student to recap knowledge and come back, fresher with the knowledge that was taught before, we can use the KWL chart. It's a very easy tool to organize information and also serves as a good recap. So opening can be, should be used as a hook. You can give any thinking question, a brainstorming question, a recap question. The purpose of an opening is to set the tone for learning for the rest of the class. Then comes introduction to new material. I'll be referring to it as INM. I do here, the I means you as teachers. So here is where you introduce the new topic to the learners, to your students as brief as possible. Also, given that this is the online medium, we do know that the screen time is coming down. We don't have much time to engage with them getting into lengthy discussions. So try and use more visual tools, maybe to introduce your new materials, videos, pictures, and keeping the teacher talk as minimal as possible. So this is where you will be introducing the topic in a creative manner, in a different manner, as quickly as possible. Then we move on to guided practice or BDO. So this particular type of lesson plan is heavy on student practice, that it allows them to build skill. So in guided practice, what we do is we assign a bit of work to the students. In the past webinar, we've also covered different collaborative strategies like think, pair, share, jigsaw, etc. So here is where you can bring in a lot of collaborative strategies because students learn better in a peer-to-peer learning structure. So this is a many-to-many learning that happens. So what is your role as a teacher coming here is you are only guiding them, clarifying any misconceptions, correcting them if they go wrong. But this is mainly for them to practice, mainly for them to make mistakes and get their mistakes and doubts cleared. So guided practices we do where the teacher and student partner together. This is also a very great place for you to gather data as to what the common mistakes are. So after you're done introducing your topic in INM, when you come to the guided practice, if you find out common mistakes, you can address it to the class again. Then we come to independent practice or you do. So the maximum amount of time for student practice is chalked here at independent practice. So you being the student. So this is where they are going to be practicing whatever they've learned in the lesson throughout. This is a great assessment data point for you to understand how much a student has understood, where the breakdown has happened. It can be in different forms. It can be in the form of an exit slip, which is like a short assessment. It could be in the form of a mind map where the student is mapping and visually summarizing everything that she has learned. So independent practice, the student is supposed to do it by themselves, like the name suggests, without any help. It's a great data point for assessment. Finally, we come to the closing. So closing is where the student and the teacher, they both summarize learning for themselves. Mainly, it's a reflective space for the student to close out learning for themselves. They can reflect in different ways, write in a reflection journal or a learning log, what went well, what was difficult. So there are different strategies again that can be used at every stage. I'm going to quickly recap this. Opening is a hook that sets the tone for learning in the class. It can also be used as a space to recap. INM, I do. This space is where the new topic is introduced. It's meant to be as fast, fun, and effective as possible. Guided practice, we do. Students preferably work in a collaborative setting, assisted or guided by the teacher. And here is where you can address some common mistakes, large group. Independent practice to be done by students themselves. The assessment data will give you an idea about what went well in your lesson, how you can course correct for the next one. Closing, summarizing the learning for the students themselves so that the concept is clear. Are we clear so far? Any doubts? If there are any doubts, you can ask now. You can unmute yourselves and ask now. Ask now. We'll be practicing this and all these 5 steps in the webinar. So I'm guessing you will get more clarity then. Okay, I think we're clear so far. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so going to quickly run you through a model lesson plan based on the 5-step lesson planning method. And throughout this experience, I'd like you to keep dabbling between the various roles that you always do as teachers. But here you're going to be wearing 2 hats. One is a student hat, the other is a teacher hat. So I'll be running the lesson plan like a teacher would. And as students do ask questions, please go ahead. We love questions. So do ask your questions. Think how the students would be receptive to the lesson plan that is going to be shown here. All right, so let's move on. So this is the topic. classification of animals into herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. The final learning outcomes, what we want the students to be able to do, is identify and describe each category and classify accordingly. All right, so the lesson begins here. All right, students. So shown here is the cover picture of a book called Aesop's Fable. What I'd like you to do is you are going to think and you are going to be filling out a table before you. In this table, I'd like you to look at the cover picture closely, see the different animals that you're seeing here, write the name of the animal, and think about what food it eats. So I want you to take a good look at the cover picture of the book here, write down the name of the animals, and think of what food it could eat. All right, I'm already getting some responses from some of you. Lovely. Meenakshi ma'am says that lion eats flesh. Super. All right, let's hear some more responses maybe from the others. Okay, so again, since this is for students, I'm trying to sort of bring the level down. But the idea is if any one teacher could either share by chat or unmute and share, which step of the lesson plan was this? Which step of the lesson plan was this? If anyone would like to tell me, from the 5-step lesson plans, which step of the lesson plan was this? If anyone would like to unmute or share in the chat box. If I'm starting the lesson this way.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I feel it is the KWL. We'll have to give children a KWL, the sheet for in which they can write what they know about the animals.
Absolutely, ma'am. Yes, that's correct. Thank you. Yes, Usha Kamat ma'am and Manjula ma'am both say yes, it is the opening or the hook. So again, in the opening of the hook, you have a liberty to be as creative as possible. Try and bring in external elements. Even though this is a lesson of science, we can sort of make connection between what they're seeing outside in the lesson as well. So rightly said KWL because they're using previous knowledge here. Okay, so let's move on. So this kind of an opening for a student would probably be like KWL was one of the strategies. Brainstorm is another because here is where they're thinking and doing something that is not completely related to the lesson or the concept itself that they are learning. So brainstorm is another opening or hook strategy that could be used. Moving on. All right, students. So in the previous section, you wrote down the different names of the animals and the food that it eats. So based on the food that animals eat, they're classified into herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. So let me explain what each type is. So herbivores, they eat only plants. They have large flat teeth to crush and grind the food. So as you can see, these animals on the top left corner, they are herbivores. So they are called herbivores because they eat only plants. The reason that they have large flat teeth is because it helps them crush and grind the food. And so these type of animals are known as herbivores. Let's look at the second category of animals, which are known as carnivores. Carnivores eat only meat. They have sharp teeth and claws to tear the meat. Because it's meat and it gets really tough, they need sharp teeth and claws to tear it. Carnivores are those animals, for example, here, tiger, lion, wolf, cheetah, etc. These are known as carnivores because they eat only meat. When it comes to omnivores, these type of animals, they eat both plant and meat, and they have a mix of both teeth because they eat both type of food, and hence these are known as omnivores. So based on the food that they eat, we have 3 types of animals: herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. So again, which step did we after the opening? What's the next step that comes here? INM. Great, thank you, ma'am, Usha ma'am. She tells us it's INM. So I did a very short explain. So explain is a very simple strategy, like the name suggests. a very quick, easy, effective way to explain what we are doing here. And this is purely you talking as teachers. So try and make the most of it. Go as visual as possible, especially that this is online. So please make sure that you are using a lot of pictures, you're using a lot of videos. This can also be followed by a CFU or a check for understanding, just like you would recap questions. So maybe you could ask a student, what type of teeth do carnivores have? So after the INM, this is just to ensure that the concept is clear in their head. Maybe you can ask, push their thinking a little more and ask them, but what about humans? What kind of animals are humans? So again, just engaging them with these check for understanding questions at various points in your class will ensure that they are staying engaged throughout. So now that we are done with the opening and the INM, we are going to move to the next part. So students, what I want you to now do is think, pair, share. In your groups, I want you to classify these animals as herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. You can see your worksheet here that is there and the different animals that are there on the screen. So I'd like you to classify these animals as carnivore, herbivore, and omnivore. So again, think, pair, share is a strategy that can be used at which stage? Now that we're done with opening an INM, great, getting some responses. Super, yes, it is guided practice indeed. So guided practice is we do peer-to-peer collaboration. Now, if this were an offline setting, I understand it gets much easier when you assign group tasks and you can move around and you can overlook their work. But how this can be leveraged in an online setting is by using breakout rooms, these small discussion rooms. This allows them to collaborate, and I would highly recommend that we give them as much group time as possible, because it's equally a tough time for students to have lost this disconnect with their own classrooms. So let's try and have a lot of peer-to-peer collaborative structures. They also come up with a lot of ideas this way. So again, think, pair, share is one of these. In the previous webinars, we covered the different strategies. You could use any of these. All right, now that we're done with opening, INM, and GP, let's move on. So this is the last part of the session. So it's called an exit slip. So you can hand this over to your students and they have to write this independently, or they have to fill this out independently. So again, if you see the type of questions that I have done here, when you look at the state, whether true or false or fill in the blank questions, this is made in a format of KUA. That's knowledge, understanding, application. So the first two questions are very basic objective type questions that just test what, when, where, just the very basic facts that you can use out here. Match the following is another one that you can take. To check their understanding, you can move to more how questions or more detailed questions with give two differences between herbivores and carnivores, for example. Classify them is another one, which was our main topic anyway. And also it will be really nice to test their application beyond the concept, beyond the chapter itself. For example, the last question here is human and omnivore and say why. So this is an example of an application question that is there. So knowledge tests your what, where, when, just the facts, objective type. Understanding is a little more detailed, your short answer questions like how, why, the explain part. Application is using the concept in an external world. So this is the kind of, which is the step of lesson planning that we are now in, teachers. If you all can tell me. All right, getting some answers. Yes, that's right. I'm going to wait for a few more. If you like to unmute and share also will be great. Yes, so Usha ma'am correctly says that this is the IP. IP stands for independent practice. So this is where the student does. So what the advantage of such an exit slip is, that it will give you a breakdown of information where it is happening for the students. Suppose the students have gotten this part of the section wrong, you'll understand that the basic knowledge component is missing. If they've gotten this right and the understanding has gone wrong somewhere, you will know that that's where you need to focus on more. So it's a great data point. IP is a great data point and has to be attempted by the students by themselves. Uh, we come to the last part of our lesson, students. I'd like you to fill out in your own learning logs, what did I find easy? What did I find difficult? With respect to the lesson, what did I find easy? What did I find difficult? Again, now can someone tell me which part of the lesson plan this is? After IP, absolutely correct, Manjula ma'am and Usha ma'am, it is closing. Okay, so in the closing itself, it's basically a reflection space for students themselves to understand what they need to focus on more. It summarizes their learning well. So this was the 5-step lesson plan that I stand you through. Now we're going to get into some practice time where you will be making the 5-step lesson plan. So for this, we're going to be putting you in breakout rooms, and in your groups I'd like you to make a 5-step lesson plan for the following objective. I do understand that the teachers here all of you may not teach science. The purpose behind choosing such an objective is just to give you practice on making a lesson plan or organizing it according to the 5 steps. You can definitely practice it later for your own subject areas. So this is the objective or the goal of the lesson plan, to describe the different stages of the water cycle. What do we want our students to do? By the end of the lesson, they should be able to tell us what is evaporation, what is condensation, and what is precipitation, and arrange it in a proper sequence. And please note that only a broad framework is enough. We don't need to get into details here, and try and be as creative as possible. Think about it in an online sense. If you had to engage your students using these 5 steps, how you would go about it. So we'll be putting you in breakout rooms now. What you can do meanwhile is just maybe start jotting down your ideas so that when you are in your breakout rooms, you all can share and exchange your ideas.
Yeah. So I'm creating around 8 breakout rooms. So you will have around 5 to 6 of you in one group. All right. And I'm going to make sure that the room closes by after 10 minutes once you have started. All right. Shall we start? Anybody, any doubts here or anything that you'd like to ask before you start off with the process? Okay, so the work time starts now. You will be getting an invite on your screens to join a breakout room. Hey. Miss Richa, Deepali, and Munna, are you facing some trouble in joining the room? Hello, Mr. Cha, Dipali and Munna. Can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Cha, are you there?
We are back in the room, main room, I think.
Yes, ma'am. We're back in the main session room.
Yes,
Yeah.
Vishali.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I did have a glimpse, a peek literally into each of the breakout rooms. So if we can just share broadly what your ideas are, how do you want to do the five-step lesson plan? So can we start with breakout room 1 that has Shripana ma'am, Richa ma'am, Nitin sir, Deepali ma'am and Anita ma'am? Anyone would like to present?
And I
Yeah, I think Richa ma'am will do for us.
Okay.
Richa ma'am will do for us.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Hi. Yeah, means you want to ask me how will I introduce water cycle in my class? This is
Yes,
this
five-step lesson plan, all the 5 steps, opening till closing.
opening. What I do with my learners, I do brainstorming session. Means brainstorming means I check the previous knowledge. Means I'll start with means every means we can't water trees all the time, right? Because some trees are yeah. So how do they survive? Means from where do they get water? Have you means pondering questions I'll give and yes, and without trees, imagine a situation in which no trees are there. Will you be able to survive? How will, first of all, importance of trees, benefits of trees, and without trees, how would our earth look like this yeah, this is the opening session for my students. After that I'll come to means from their book they will read various steps. What are the evaporation, condensation, precipitation and collection, like that. And in my class what I did, we made water cycle in our class using colorful strips and all that. And yeah, and it was very it looked very attractive. The thing is, it was a teamwork actually. When the students, they love to do activities like that, in which the teacher only helps them or cuts or cut or give them cutouts and all that.
Right.
And they paste it with their own hands.
Correct.
So that will come under GP, no, ma'am? Abhilasha ma'am?
Yes, you're right,
Yes.
ma'am. GP. Now,
GP.
I'd just like you to think more. That's a great idea you did, Richa ma'am. Now, think in an online context also. How would this possibly come? That I'll leave it to the group also to think more.
Ma'am, I want to add actually.
Yes,
I
yes,
want to
please.
add. Yes, ma'am. Actually, we can, what we are discussing, that in that second step, we can give the flow chart also. Okay.
Yes, correct.
Yes, to show the processes. Okay.
All right.
Precipitation and what is the scheduling sequence we can give so that they can understand. And then third step, what Richa ma'am told, that is actually think, pair and share, and hands-on activity will be there in that. And then the exit sleep where we are we may do fastest finger fast, and we can ask some picture we can show and quiz we can do. So they will be very excited to reflect their thoughts. And the last one is independent practice. There we can give post
Give questions.
we can give questions and drawing, how they diagram we can give, and we can exit like that.
And and I have a suggestion, Abhilasha ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
We can give a cycle, we can give a diagram which is incomplete and we can make them complete.
Correct.
So that comes in the learning, closing
Okay.
log,
All right.
learning log.
Good method.
Yeah, Abhilasha ma'am, I want to say something.
Yes,
They can do presentation also. Means yes, different steps. They can jot down their, means whatever went in their mind, they can just voice it.
Absolutely. Like giving them the choice how to represent
Yes.
their own learning.
And
Super. All
and on
right.
the basis of that, means rubrics also means rubrics also we can make, and it's an assessment also. We can take it as an assessment also. But before that we have to make rubrics, and on that the assessment would be judged.
Right.
Like.
Right. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I got a lot of ideas actually, things that never occurred to me before. Super. All right, let's hear from breakout room 2. Anurita ma'am, Hemlata ma'am, Ita ma'am, and Shubha ma'am. If any of you would like to present, or maybe all would like to present as a team, maybe.
Okay, yeah, hi. So we didn't discuss anything. I'm sorry for that. I mean, none of us initiated, but I can always, like, the way I prepare, like, I'm an English teacher at a National Public School, Whitefield, Bangalore. So the way I prepare my lesson plan is basically a recap, as like it's almost on the same lines as you have discussed.
Right.
So talking about the author, telling about the other works of like other works of the author,
Right.
and then asking the children to guess the topic if possible.
Lovely. Okay.
Showing them some hint pictures, clues, or something, like if it is mention of shoes, so telling them about shoes and which the earliest shoes were made in Egypt, and so they guessing, extracting the title out of them.
Right.
And then moving on to the methodology, so that includes like after telling the main teaching the information, giving the information and the new material, then a downtime activity is what we do, like through a PPT. Yeah. Like after 15 minutes or so, and that like interactive session completely.
Okay.
And then finally the closure in the form of a video. So,
Okay.
and a recap. Yes.
Okay.
And of course, we begin the class also with a brainstorming and recap session. Right.
Great, great. All right, just to add on here, ma'am, just think about where would you independently assess their learning. If you can make space for that also in the lesson plan, because ultimately we need to know the individual student data, how much they have grasped and understood.
Yeah, I like that part, and yeah, I like that part in your.
Abhilasha ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Abhilasha ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
Can we use video at the end also? Can we use it at the end, closing?
Maybe what you could do, ma'am, usually these videos serve as a guide, and the purpose of independent practice is for them to like recapitulate everything that they've learned in the session and put it down. Like it was suggested by one of your team members itself, that we can come up with a different rubric. They can independently represent what they want to do. You give them a choice whether they want to draw it out if you're looking for a visual means, or they can write it down. That depends on you. But ideally, this stage should not have any hand holding. It's for students to independently.
So it should be more of student interaction.
Yes, interaction in the guided practice, independently in independent practice.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks.
Thank you.
Excuse me, we can say for independent working, we can give them a worksheet, or also we can give them a mind map which is half complete.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'm going to be coming to that. Thank you for saying that.
And we also give an auto-graded quiz for independent work, like
Yeah. A quiz is also something that keeps, I mean, they don't get bored by looking at the same question answer format. So quiz is a great way for them to like, especially in online session. Now, let's keep in mind that this is an online context. So if we have like a live quiz, like you can have them leave the class after doing a quiz. So that will definitely keep them engaged. Thank you so much for that suggestion.
Could we use Kahoot also for this thing?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I think that will be offline Kahoot we can use.
Yeah, integrate like whatever we've learned in the previous webinar. So Kahoot would be a wonderful tool to engage them with the quiz. Yeah.
Abhilasha ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Since ma'am was suggesting Kahoot, can you please tell us the devices which you have explained to us, at what stages we can use each one of them? Like now the steps you have given, model lesson. So what stage can each one fit in for us? Just for us to have an idea. That's all.
So something like a Kahoot, ma'am, you can use in your opening if you want to test the previous knowledge, like it is based on what they've learned before, or it can also be used in your independent practice. So these are the two stages where I think it will be applicable and it will be relevant, because it's more of them doing independently a recall and then answering the question. So these are the stages where a Kahoot would fit. Does that answer your question, ma'am? Okay. All right. Then let's hear from breakout room 3, and we're going to make the sharing a little quick. We have more activities in the session. So let's hear from breakout room 3, which has Bindu ma'am, Vidya ma'am, Vishakha ma'am, Usha ma'am, Srikarthi ma'am, and Rama. Yeah.
Okay. We started with, I think all of us are there. We divided ourselves. We'll do a part each. Okay. And we started off with that, the breakout, like whatever, how are we going to introduce it? It was like something, the teacher enters and says, I am sweating a lot, and just switch on the fan. And oh, now I feel a little better. But where has the sweat disappeared? So that kind of a question, and then they come out with the, yes, ma'am, the sweat has gone into the air, and where and how. So they may have heard about evaporation.
Yes.
They may not know the thing, but they would tell you that the water has gone into the air. So that is how we begin the lesson, and then we go forward. Next, I think Usha ma'am had to.
No, Bindu ma'am.
Bindu ma'am. Bindu.
Okay, so I think that is yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so introduction to new material. So what the teacher would do is give a short description on the, the 3 processes of water cycle. So they could show a video, or it could be like, a photo shoot of, the experiment that a teacher could conduct prior, and could be displayed as a video, a live video, So wherein it's the vessel which is kept with, the water kept on the stove, and it is getting heated up, and the steam rising, and the lid that is there on top of the vessel, it catches on the steam, right? And so when you remove the lid, it goes to a cooling surface, and it develops the bubbles, the water. So we can explain the process of condensation there. And with the increase in the the more and more water droplets getting formed, and how the drop falls down, they can actually see it. And then we can relate it to the precipitation there.
Okay.
So we are touching on all the 3 processes in the experiment, and by showing the experiment, we are just explaining it, and that's what I thought of.
Okay, yes, demonstration and explanation in INM, lovely. What about GP, IP in closing, ma'am?
Yeah. Okay, in guided practice, we could divide the class into groups and assign to each group to discuss what is happening in each of the stages and diagrammatically expressing whatever they have done. One is evaporation. So they'll draw pictures of it and talk about what is evaporation, how it's happening. The next group will talk about condensation, and the next group will talk about precipitation. And then at the end of the session, everybody will come and, present their bits in front of the class.
Correct. So it's like a large jigsaw.
Yes.
What about the IP?
Followed by? Who was next?
Independent practice.
Meanwhile, the other teams could also just like, if one person can sort of represent the team, the discussion will also. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Who were the 2 more people? Divya,
I think they're having audio problems. I just got a message that they were having. Okay, can I chip in for them then?
Yes.
Yeah, we can then make them do independent practice, either giving them the words and asking them to match the following, or to fill in the blanks, or show them pictures of each of the stages and ask them to explain in writing in their notebooks what is happening in the picture.
Okay.
Or even a mind map. Found this idea.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's hear from the next. Thank you so much. The next breakout room 4. Can we hear from that team? Anuradha ma'am, Chandan sir, breakout room 4, Anuradha ma'am, Chandan sir and Mukta ma'am.
Excuse me, there is a lot of disturbance. I think somebody has to mute their microphone.
Yes, could you please mute yourself? Request the other students to mute themselves. Okay, all right. So,
Yes. So, yeah, so for if we will go for an opening, we will show them some videos, or maybe just now it is a raining season, so we will say from where rain comes, how the water has formed, and then through video, we will just show the evaporation and then how the clouds have formed, and then again rain comes, and then it river, and then sea, and then again because of heat it is evaporating. So that complete cycle we will just that we will show them, and then it is an introduction part. There we will just ask them to classify, or will just with the pictures they can classify the things, like sequence wise they can do the picture, like first what will come, and then the second part, and the third, fourth, fifth, like that. And with the live examples, we can ask the questions when the mother cooks food, or how the steam has, how the food is cooking with the steam, or maybe when the mother keeps food hot, and then in the lid you see some water vapor has come, so how it has formed. All those live questions, so they will have all the like curiosity from where it has come, so that is actually required. And then second part will explain by ma'am, and then third part by sir. So ma'am, Mugdha ma'am.
Oh yes, most of the things are the same what we have discussed. But the only thing is, we can now it is online classes, so we can show them live demo. What instead of video, we can show them live demo of evaporate water, how steam converts into droplets, that is condensation. That we can also show, and what is called as precipitation.
Okay, sure.
And we can relate this topic to other cycles also. We can ask them to trigger the thought-provoking question that like this water cycle, do we have any other cycles in our life? Have you came across it? Like that, we can ask some other questions, and we can relate this topic to other subjects also. And experiential based questions we should ask them, because they are at home. So when you are eating food, you are sitting together, and when you open any of the pot, what do you find? Why? When you are opening fridge, why you are finding, what do you see, or why it is like that? All these questions, because see, I am a primary teacher, so it depends to what age group you are teaching. According to that, you have to frame the questions.
Correct.
Isn't it? I think like that.
Okay, sure. All right.
And we can show them some pictures. We have to we have to find out some pictures, and then ask them, number the pictures, and ask them to classify, write the number. They can draw, or they can write the number.
Okay.
So for that, we have to do much study about it, and find out the pictures like eyes, or some forms of this thing, in which they can, which means if it is getting converted into water is converting into this, which process is this? Like that also we can ask.
Okay, sure. Again, like making it very relatable to real life, and where they actually.
Yes, yes.
Right, sure. So, great. Just as long as we're ensuring that this sort of a lesson plan caters to more student practice, it's absolutely fine.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much. Can we here share some breakout room 5? The teachers in breakout room 5.
Yeah. Very good afternoon. I'm Uma from Cambridge Public School, Bangalore. And our team has come out with these things. First of all, as we opened the session, I'm going to talk about, or maybe I in a classroom and my friends also in my group, we are going to talk about the conversion of energies, as simple as taking an example of a cycle. Okay, the physical energy that you have is converted into mechanical energy. And if you are actually traveling in a cycle in the night, the bulb glows because mechanical energy is converting into electrical energy. So the basic thing there is the energy, transformation of energy from the human body to the electrical energy. So it's a cycle. So something triggers, something happens. So that is the base thing of introduction. So with that introduction, we can definitely go to the life cycle of a butterfly. So but very, very common thing, butterflies which are around us, how from the pupae to a well-developed butterfly, it goes. So what is thing here is converting one to the other, and the process goes on and on. That is what is the concept of this entire thing. Then if we come to the next stage of INM stage, where you are going to actually introduce the concept of a summer season where the water bodies shrink. You can see the rivers, get dry bed of the rivers, where we ask children back home in their native places, your bullock carts even cross those rivers. That's how they become dry. What happens? When the summer season is there, the water starts evaporating at a very quicker process than in usual times, goes up as clouds. So now when a cool air passes through these clouds, it falls down as rain. So as my friend said, at home is on top of that, the water go and get collected. So a very good condensation is happening over there. But when it comes to the natural process of water cycle, this is what is actually happening. These lakes, which were during summer season, the water bodies during summer season where bullock cart tracks, now is full of water overflowing. You know, especially I belong to Kerala, and during rainy season we can't even areas. Schools are closed because very copious rainfall. Even in Dakshin Kannada region of Karnataka, same thing happens. Along the Western Ghats, children have plenty of examples of water cycles over there. So what matters is that the heat, the sun evaporates, water gets collected over a process 2 months. If you can see, the summer season in India begins in the month of February, and the rainy season exactly in Kerala and Dakshin Kannada starts on May 28th. So 2.5 months of water collection. When cool breeze starts moving over these clouds, they form into droplets, and when the atmosphere can no longer carry these droplets, they come down as copious rainfall. And then you can see from May to September, entire Western Ghat and the Arabian Sea, you have this, your rains goes up to Himalayas, touches the huge Himalayas, comes back as a retreating monsoon, gives rainfall to Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, again goes out of Kerala. This is what is the water cycle that as a teacher I used to do it I do it in my class. So the concept is very clearly understood. Now, say next step, children will be given maybe a class of 30 can be divided into 5 groups, each group having 6 members. They will be asked to draw the word. 2 of them will be engaged in the process. The concept of a cycle. A cycle is an ongoing process. In history, we call it a movement. So same way, it is an ongoing process. Now what happens? The child, 2 of them will be dedicated with that task. 2 of them will explain and 1 will narrate with the big picture they will draw, and then they will come. So the concept is almost there with the child. Now with the guided learning, the teacher
We lost you there, ma'am. Okay, all right. Unfortunately, since we are pressed for time, I'm loving the discussion that's happening, but instead of sharing large group here, instead I would love for everyone, for the remaining groups, breakout room 6, 7, 8, to share in the chat box. We'd love to hear how you segmented your plan into opening, till closing, ensuring there's sufficient student practice. I'm understanding that you all understood how to get very creative about this and be very organized about this. So with that, we'll move on. And this is for you to do a mind map. This is your independent practice here, where I'd like you to make a mind map of whatever you learned about lesson plan now. We're quickly going to take about 2 minutes to do this. Let's individually make a mind map for ourselves about whatever we learned about lesson plan now as a mind map. We're going to take 2 minutes now.
Sorry, I wasn't audible, I guess. Shilpa and Abhilasha.
Yes,
towards the end, I wasn't audible.
No, yeah, we lost you.
Yes,
there.
we are.
There was a power cut over here. Sorry.
Yeah, ma'am. So now we're just making a mind map in the interest of time. We're just going to be recapping and encapsulating our own learning with respect to lesson plan. Individually, we'll make a mind map.
Yes.
And let's just take another 30 seconds to just recap visually. We're visually representing our information here. Okay.
So we have to do it in the physical notebook with us, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
All right. Hoping that you've all had sufficient time to just map your learnings. With that, well, we definitely looked at the 5-step lesson plan. But how do we adapt it to the online context has been the biggest challenge for most of us here. So when it comes to the online context, now there are 2 types of learning that we can employ. So one is a synchronous learning, the other is an asynchronous learning. So synchronous is where students learn at the same time, just like we're doing this webinar now. Like Zoom calls happen. So where students are learning in a live setting, it's happening real time, and it's more engaging and effective. Just like we saw here, the group was totally flooded with all sorts of ideas. It allows for a lot of engagement, and we also can give instant feedback and clarification. For example, video conferencing, live chat, and live stream videos. Now, asynchronous learning, as you would have heard maybe in your schools and even in the government talking about reducing screen time, asynchronous learning is where we can email them our separate worksheets, or we can email them PDFs, because this allows the student to learn at their own times. We have to understand that the students are at home. There are different constraints that are there, working parents that are there, some of whom are not able to pay attention to the students then and there. So allowing them to work and learn at their own pace. Communication is not live, and it's more convenient and flexible both for the teacher and student sometimes, and basically students can work at their own pace. For example, you can send out task packets or worksheets through email, you can send out WhatsApp videos to watch or YouTube videos to watch. So again, allowing them to decide their pace of learning.
What is a Flipgrid videos that you've written? Flipgrid videos?
Yes, so Flipgrid videos, again, it's a kind of tool, ma'am, that sort of is a collage of the different sort of videos that are there. You can, you know, if you want to teach multiple concepts, you can group them together and you can send it to them. So asynchronous learning and synchronous learning. Now what we can do is we can come up with a blended model. Let me explain to you how with our 5-step lesson plan, we can come up with a blended model which has components of both synchronous and asynchronous learning. Let's see how that works. Right. So in asynchronous learning, for example, the INM and the independent practice can be done asynchronously. You can maybe in your WhatsApp groups ask them to watch a video, YouTube video. You can send out PDFs, you can send out pre-reads via WhatsApp or email. So that's something in INM. Whatever new material that has to be introduced to them can be sent to them prior class itself. And then another method that you can, another step of the 5-step lesson plan that we can chalk here is having the independent practice, like your worksheets and tests can also be sent post class. It doesn't require a live setting like a synchronous learning environment does. The other parts of the lesson plan that can come in synchronous learning are your opening, because assuming that you sent them worksheet or like a pre-read, let's say on the water cycle, so we want to know whether they've learned or not. So maybe your opening, you can use a recap strategy like KWL. We can use crosswords. We'll learn how to generate crosswords later. You can use these different opening strategies just to ensure that you've made sure that they've learned or they've gone through what you sent to them. Guided practice. Now, I really saw the energy of this group really rise like that when we were able to see each other and discuss. Similarly, these are kids who've lost contact with their friends. So allowing for space, in a synchronous learning environment like Zoom, for example, breakout rooms, group works will give them like a lot of energy and a lot of ideas. So these are the ways that we can chunk our 5-step lesson plan. Closing can also be, closing can be both synchronous and asynchronous. If you want real-time feedback from the students, it can come in synchronous learning. If you want them to reflect for themselves, you can put it in asynchronous. So that choice is left up to you. So that is how we can divide our 5-step lesson plan in these two ways, and it's a blended model of learning. All right, now this is the closing. In the beginning, I had asked you to fill out a KWL on what you know about lesson plan, what you want to know about lesson planning, and what you learned. So for now, individually, I'd like each one of you to fill out this column about what you learned with respect to lesson plan in this session. We'll quickly take 2 minutes to do this. It'll be great if you note it down in your books so that the learning stays for longer.
This is for us, no, ma'am. So
yes, this is for your ma'am. This is for you.
Fine.
We'll take another minute or so. All right. Hopefully, you have been able to summarize your own learning in this session. So let's take a quick brain break. Let's all get down to cracking a crossword here. So I'm going to quickly share my screen with all of you. Share another screen here. I hope my screen is visible to all of you. This is a quick brain break for all of us from all the jargon that we've been doing so far. So this crossword is on the places of India. So as a team, we can just, maybe you can use the annotate option, or you can tell me, unmute and tell me, and we'll crack the crossword. So places of India, let's get started, teachers. The first one is
Kolkata.
City of Joy, Kolkata. That's absolutely correct. Thank you, teacher. Okay. All right. The second one, 2 down, is City of Dreams.
Mumbai.
Okay.
Mumbai.
All right. Okay, 2 down is City of Dreams, Mumbai. That's correct. I hope the screen is visible to all of you. You can send.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right.
If you could just scroll it a little up.
Just a minute, ma'am. Yeah.
Three is Jaipur, Pink City.
Jaipur, yeah. Pink
Jaipur.
City, Jaipur.
Yes.
Jaipur.
Manchester.
Queen of Hills, it is Ooty.
Simla.
Ooty.
Ooty.
Queen of Hills, Ooty.
Kodaikanal. Kodaikanal या ऊटी, ma'am?
Darjeeling. Darjeeling is the right answer, ma'am. Yes.
Darjeeling. Okay.
Number 7 is Bangalore.
7 Bangalore.
Garden City.
Mysore.
Number
Both
6
own
is
countries.
Kerala. Heaven on earth, Kashmir, no?
Kashmir.
Yes.
Kashmir.
6 Kashmir.
Number 4 is Ludhiana.
4 is Ahmedabad.
Ahmedabad.
Manchester of the East.
6 is Kerala. God's own country.
Country. Kerala.
Uma ma'am will be very happy. Uma ma'am.
Even I too from
Even I, ma'am.
Okay.
This Detroit of India, Chennai.
Rock capital. Chandigarh.
Chandigarh.
No, ma'am, not Chandigarh.
Ninth
This
one.
is rock with respect to rock music. That way, the rock capital.
Oh.
Mumbai.
Ninth one should be Jamshedpur.
Ma'am, that's Shillong. Rock capital.
Yes, Shillong is right. That's correct.
So which one, ma'am? Detroit of
8 down is Shillong.
Oh, rock capital. Okay.
So we are left with 4 and 9.
Manchester, Ahmedabad.
Oh, Shillong it is.
Ahmedabad, ma'am.
Ahmedabad.
9 is
4th is Ahmedabad.
9th is Ahmedabad. That's
9th is Chennai.
9th is Chennai.
So 9th is, I think, Jamshedpur.
Jamshedpur, I think it is correct.
Chennai.
4 is Coimbatore, Manchester of India.
Chennai.
4 Manchester of
Manchester of India is Coimbatore, but Manchester of the East,
East is
Ahmedabad.
Ahmedabad.
Yes. I think we are done with all teachers. Yes.
Yes.
All right. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for now, and we'll get back to our presentation. Okay. So what was it like for you as a brain break in the middle of this session? How did it make you feel?
Great.
Good, ma'am.
Exciting.
Refreshing, ma'am.
So if we as adults can feel this excited. Imagine the amount of excitement that kids feel when they have a gamified version, right? So
it was engaging.
Any link that you can share where we can generate crosswords like that?
Exactly. So that's the next part that we are coming to. So next we are going to be looking at a crossword generator.
Is it possible to do crossword online straight away?
Yes,
Like
ma'am.
doing the student.
Get the students to put online your saying.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. So these are the different crossword generators that have been used, that I have also used before. Discovery Education, education.com, crossword labs. Okay, so for now, I'm going to be sharing a link with everyoneeducation.com, and I'm going to run you by on how to create a crossword. The topic for our crossword is Indian Independence Movement. So anything that has to do with the Indian Independence Movement, you can create a crossword for that. I'm going to quickly share a link with you in the chat box. I hope everyone is able to access the link. This should have opened in your screens. Teachers, give me a thumbs up if this is what opened on your screens. If not, you can have a, yes, thank you, Dina ma'am. If not, the others can see it on my screen. I'll just give you like a tutorial of how this is to be done. So like I told you, those were the different websites. I'll go back to that on the presentation. So education.com is what I usually go to for crosswords. Now let's take an example of, I'm going to write this as the Indian Independence Movement. So just quick top of the ideas. If you want to just message me, you can send it to me by chat. Just before you do that, I'd like you to take a look at how this is to be done. So you will write the answer here and then put a comma, leave space and give the clue for it. For example, I put Gandhi here. The clue can be father of the nation. The second one, again, I'm just thinking top of the mind. So Dandi, with respect to the Dandi March, the clue can be March for Salt. I'm just going to take about 5 here, just for you to understand how this works. Any other ideas that are coming to your head when you talk about
Satyagraha? Satyagraha.
Okay, all right. And the clue for that could be
Mama?
Non-violence movement.
Iron Man of India, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel.
Super.
Non-violence movement.
Satyagraha, non-violence. Non-cooperative movement.
So, okay, again, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel might just get too long for the crossword. We'll try and look for something else here, maybe.
The tragedy that occurred as a cause of the non-cooperation movement. Jallianwala Bagh.
Jallianwala Bagh.
Quit India. Quit India.
Phrase that says go back.
The tragedy, cause of the non-cooperation movement. Jallianwala.
Or we can even put the date that it took place on, maybe, or Punjab, for example. Or
13th April.
13th April, that's right.
Yeah.
So just giving you again, the idea is you write your answer, write a comma, give space, and then you do it. And when you come to this side, we'll have to, right now it's not working because I'm sharing screen, but can everyone see where my mouse is? It says scramble option is here, right? So you will have to click on that. It'll reshuffle everything. It'll give you download worksheet and it'll give you download answer key option. So I'd suggest that you download both so that when you are correcting student worksheets, you can easily refer to the answer key and do it. You'll have to enter your worksheet title here as Indian independence, for example, and then you can save it. So this is simply how you can, this is a crossword generator. It's very effective for subjects like science, social science, any subject where there's a lot of factual information to remember. These words, usually students get stuck with these words in general. So just with that, it's a great tool to be learning that. So I'm going to quickly go back to our presentation here. So teachers, you can make note of these different crossword generator websites as Discovery Education. The one that we just checked was education.com. Crossword Labs is another. Pick your own topics based on your chapters, based on your subject. Again, this is a great tool to recap that can be used in the opening. It can be used in the closing. It can be used as brain breaks, just like we did right now. So that's completely left up to your discretion. So with that, just crosswords in general, it promotes a lot of self-learning and it's a good break in between the classes. It allows students to read through the clues and recall. Now, they often get stuck with definitions. So you can have the definition itself and they can fill out the process in the crossword, in science, for example. So these are the ways that it can be used. Well, that was that for today's webinar. Would request everyone to share their screens, to turn on your videos so that we can quickly take attendance. All right. Still waiting for some more teachers to turn on their videos. Okay, one more. All right. So we're just going to quickly run you through the remaining programs also that we offer. Firstly, thank you so much for being such an interactive group here. I had a lot of fun and I learned quite a bit. So certificates will be awarded. The link will be shared by Shilpa. So we'll be sharing the form link here. Moving on, just to give you a quick overview of what else we are offering, and also yes, definitely if you are planning to do any of your lessons using the 5-step lesson plan or any other support, do reach out to us. We're always here to support and help in any way that we can. And if you have any ideas for upcoming webinars, we'd love to hear from you what you would want more assistance with. And also seminars has been one of our new offerings alongside the online programs. We're doing brand new seminars every 2 weeks. And these are the different seminars that we are been doing so far. There's coding, public speaking, Quiz Pro for those who want to specialize in quizzing. There's comic books, cybersecurity, active learning. We also have a very special type of seminar. And again, here are the offers. So if you sign up for any one, it's 500, or signing up for 3 makes it 999, and you can attend it in 1 month. This can be for your children also, can be for your students that you are teaching as well. Harry Potter seminar has been one of the most interesting seminars for a lot of quarter heads that we know. It's for students of grade 4 and above. It's a 2-hour seminar. So that's again something students really enjoy attending and being a part of. Quiz Pro program or the Quiz Pro boot camp is for those who specifically want to specialize in quizzing. It's for them from grades 4 to 10. So again, like some of you mentioned, how do we make our students more curious in learning? Quizzing is a great tool for them to build curiosity, and I'm sure they must be applying this in their other subjects as well. So Quiz Pro is again another seminar that we offer, and that's that from our side. If you have anything, you can ask us now. Shilpa and I are here to address your doubts.
Or you could just fill in the suggestion box on the form also, and we should be able to get back to you on either WhatsApp or by mail, or any way you prefer the response.
And now that everything is online, please make sure that you're following us on Instagram. We're QShala Official. We put up a lot of these nuggets of information that come in. We've also been doing a series of information called Curiosity Clips and other videos on YouTube. We just hit 100 subscribers, so you can check it out. It has just pieces of information on any random trivia and fact. And if there's anything, suggestions like Shilpa said, you can either write in the form, or for any sort of assistance, you can reach out to us here. And here are our numbers. That's our email ID, and you can reach out to us there. And that's that from my side. Thank you so much for being a part of this webinar. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sharing all the needed links. I hope everybody has started filling in the form that I shared on the group. Please fill in all the necessary information so that we can send the certificates across. And apart from that, I've shared all the links that you might need. Do share these links with your circles, social circles, or with your own students. Because I see that most of you have been attending the webinar for quite a bit now. I see a lot of familiar faces and familiar names.
All, Shilpa ma'am, all the webinars I have attended.
Yes, that's great to know, ma'am. And it will be great if you can actually post some testimonials on our Facebook page.
Of course.
So I've shared the link on the chat box. So to our Facebook page, you can just go in there and type in a post for us and tell us how your experience was. And if you've used any of these in your classes, we'd love to hear about that.
Thank you.
I've already asked for 2 things. I think you've already said that you'll...
Yes. So the next few classes will be focusing on these important things like Google Forms. I remember some of you had...
Microsoft Forms rather, I would say.
Yeah, Google Forms, Microsoft Forms, and the flipped classroom, Flipgrid, yes. Yes, we'll do that.
Is there a provision of breakout rooms in MS Teams by any case?
Yes, there is. I think they've added this feature. I am not sure.
But is it, I think it hasn't started yet. They are.
Is it?
No, but I think we can have channels for that, right?
Yes, you can have multiple channels. Ask the children to
get into the channels.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can share all kinds of, I think MS Teams also has a lot of tools that you can integrate in the channel or in that particular group itself. Like you have Poly, which is a poll taking app that's available on MS Teams. I need to do a little bit more research on that, but I'm sure breakout rooms or something like that is available.
They are in the process of, I think, but haven't started yet.
Google Meet, do you have breakout rooms, Google Meet?
Google Meet, I don't think they have. The last I checked, they did not. But through Google Meet, you can set up, using a Google account itself, you can set up a Zoom meeting itself. And in Zoom,
that is fine. I'm just talking of breakout rooms, because normal meeting
I don't think. Okay. I don't think Google Meet has, the only thing that I know that Google Meet has is the chat box and the screen share facility.
Yeah, correct.
Not sure if anything else is available yet.
Thank you so much. It was a nice.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, it's great.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure. If you've filled in your, yeah, thank you. So if you filled,
Very informative. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you. Akusha ma'am.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Shilpa ma'am, thank you so much.
Thank you and bye. See you next week.
You.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so if everybody has filled in the form that was shared on the chat box, I think we can end the meeting. Can you give me a thumbs up if you've already filled the form for the certificate? Family family quiz is basically something that we do every Sunday, ma'am. I think Miss Garima, yeah. Family quiz is a quiz that we do almost every Sunday, every week. This is where all children, all parents, everybody comes together, and we do a very interactive quiz for them from a range of topics. It can be from current affairs, general awareness, from their own school subjects, in a very different format. We have a lot of different formats that we run during the family quiz. It's quite an interactive and quite a good learning experience for the kids.